Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm really happy to see your smiley faces here. Today's video is going to be a little bit longer than usual. We're going to be talking about the Bhagavad Gita. It's a very complex book, and we're actually going to only scratch the surface. I've chosen three essential ideas to talk about today, and at the end of the video you'll find some exercises so that you're able to apply everything that we learn in today's video. It's very important when we learn something to apply it in our lives. So this is not an easy book to read. It took me a lot of time to get into it, but also it is not the kind of book that I can just read before going to bed or in the bathtub. I really needed to sit in my library with a pencil and study those texts. I've selected three essential ideas from this book, as I said before, and this is what we're going to be talking about. I would highly suggest that you don't listen passively, but actively take notes and do the exercises that I will offer you to do at the end of the video in order to apply what we learn here. Before we start, I know that the Bhagavad Gita is considered not only as a classic book of Indian spirituality, but also as somewhat of a religious book, and I don't want this to turn you off. I'm not a religious person myself, as you guys know, although I do consider myself a spiritual seeker and believer in greater things that can be seen within nature and our connection to the unified consciousness. We've talked about it before. Okay, so I'm excited to get started. If you are too, please let me know by pressing the like button and subscribing to the channel if you've not done so already. Let's go. Before we start with the three essential ideas from the Bhagavad Gita, let's just take a minute or two to give us a little bit of context. I always find it very useful to get the context in which books were written. This book is one of the most important books in Hinduism. It has gained a huge popularity in this century, last century, 20th century, because it was what inspired Gandhi to live the life the way he did and to deliver his message to the world in the way that he did. It is considered a real must-read to all spiritual seekers, no matter your age, background, religious beliefs, and so on. If you have a chance to read it, I really recommend it that you do. As I said, it's not an easy read, but it is worth the effort. You can get it for really cheap, and I've provided the link to do so in the video description below. We don't have accurate data to put a pin on exactly when it was written, but a good guess by researchers indicates between the 5th and the 2nd century before Jesus Christ. So quite a long time ago, and yet its wisdom is still, as we will see, applicable today. I just love these ancient wisdoms, these ancient texts that may as well have been written yesterday. It's 700 verses long and belongs to the even longer Mahabharata. Most of it is a conversation between the warrior prince Arjuna, I hope I'm pronouncing this well, and the supreme manifestation of the Lord himself, Krishna. The prince is kind of dealing with some moral dilemma about going to war with his family, his own family, and seeks advice and guidance from Krishna. The interpretation of this war that the prince is about to fight is kind of a metaphor representing the long and everlasting struggle between good and evil within each of ourselves. And Krishna is guiding us on how to follow the yogic path of living in harmony with the universal laws and try to live our highest truths. If you're a subscriber to this channel and have seen my previous videos on Stoicism, you might be shocked and surprised with some similarities in the wisdom these two completely different cultures, worlds and centuries apart, have in common. It really blows my mind. That brings us to the first similarity with Stoicism and first essential idea from this great book, number 1, living with purpose, or in this case, Dharma. I quote, "It is better to strive in one's own Dharma than to succeed in the Dharma of another. Nothing is ever lost in following one's own Dharma, but competition in another's Dharma breeds fear and insecurity." In other words, the essence of a thing, its virtue, that which makes it what it is. On a larger scale, Dharma means the essential order of things, an integrity and harmony in the universe, and the affairs of life that cannot be disturbed without occurred in chaos. Thus, it means rightness, justice, goodness, and purpose rather than chance. This is very similar also to the Ikigai. Ikigai is Japanese and it means the reason to get up in the morning, the reason to live, the essence of our purpose on this planet and within the universe. Our Dharma is a highly personal thing. It doesn't simply fall into the realm of my Dharma is to launch a business to help other businesses communicate better with their clients. No, this is a silly example, but it's just to illustrate what your Dharma is not. Your Dharma is something intrinsic within yourself with a big S. It is our reason to be alive. It is so personal, in fact, that Krishna warns us about how dangerous it is to follow someone else's Dharma. You may have a hero and be inspired by him and try modeling him the best you can because he represents what you want in life. But sooner or later, you will have to detach yourself, like an apprentice needs to detach him or herself from his master, mentor, teacher. If not, you are in danger of suffering because you are trying to live your life by the Dharma of another person. It doesn't matter who the person is. Even more dangerous is when you're trying to live your life in order to impress someone else. You are then living with the focus on what others think and forget to live a life that will be fulfilling what you are here to do. What, as you know by now, our friends the Stoics, our mentors the Stoics, call our duty with a big D. And that is so important. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because your Dharma exercises are super important to do. A second essential idea from the Bhagavad Gita is performing our own duties, even imperfectly, rather than master someone else's duties. I quote, "It is better to perform one's own duties imperfectly than to master the duties of another. By fulfilling the obligation he is born with, a person never comes to grief. No one should abandon duties because he sees defects in them. Every action, every activity is surrounded by defects as a fire is surrounded by smoke." I've actually chosen that quote and that essential idea because I would like you to debate it in the comments below. Although I agree with some parts of it, I'm not sure I totally buy the whole thing that we're born with a duty. I know that the Stoics also talked about it sometimes too, as well as other Eastern, Middle Eastern philosophies. And it is up to you whether you believe that you are born with your destiny pre-written and ready for you to fulfill or not. From my personal experience, my duties have changed so many times in the last 20-25 years. My values have changed, my priorities have changed, even my Dharma to a certain extent has changed radically in the last 10 years at least. My purpose and duty with this YouTube channel, for example, is to help people live better lives. I want to help you fulfill your purpose and live your life to the fullest. I want to help you mentally through meditation, spiritually through videos, well, just like this one, and also through meditation too, and physically giving you tips and tools, strategies to have more energy, but also to learn how to manage that energy. But that is not my sole purpose in life, and it is only part of my Dharma. I've even categorized that part of my Dharma to contribution or giving back to the world by helping strangers on YouTube and Instagram. My highest purpose and duty at the moment is to be here for my pregnant wife and support our family, our future family, make sure that they're safe and taken care of, eating good, nutritious, organic foods, and have all the comfort they need so that they too can focus on fulfilling their Dharma and, working on their life journeys. What we can take from this, though, is that you have an opportunity here. You have an opportunity to grow, to move your life, shake things up, and build that path for yourself to follow. And I say your path, not someone else's path, because remember what Krishna said, you don't want to live up to someone else's Dharma. This will create suffering. The third idea here is about the power of your will. Now that I love and that really inspires me. I quote, "Reshape yourself through the power of your will. Those who have conquered themselves, love and peace alike and cold and heat, pleasure and pain, praise and blame. To such people a clod of dirt, a stone, and gold are the same, because they are impartial, they rise to great heights." Recently, we've been watching The Great Beastmaster on the weekends with my wife. It's a lot of fun to watch these athletes doing all these impossible parkour feats, the circuits, and they are all champions. They're all super fit and super agile and remarkably strong. The difference between the people that get to the end of the circuit and those that don't is willpower. The power to not give up when there's a solution. The will to finish this race with something greater than yourself maybe, or even someone that you really care about that you want to dedicate this effort to. We've seen it. The Buddha himself says, one who conquers himself is greater than another who conquers 1,000 times 1,000 men on the battlefield. Jesus, the first time I quote Jesus, he says, he who rules his spirit has won the greater victory than the taking of a city. Rumi, the great Sufi poet, said, the lion who breaks the enemy's ranks is a minor hero compared to the lion who overcomes himself. Okay, one last one, I promise. He who cannot establish dominion over himself will have no dominion over others. This is by Leonardo da Vinci. The power of your will is so important. Willpower, in fact, beats IQ by a factor of 10. Willpower totally beats skill. Careful though, as willpower is finite throughout the day. We'll talk about this. Okay, I want to include one fourth bonus idea, and can you guess what it is? You got it. Meditation. I quote, when meditation is mastered, the mind is unwavering, like the flame of a lamp in a windless place. Of course, I had to add this one since we talk a lot about meditation on this channel. By the way, guys, check our latest guided meditation. I hope you liked it. I will be posting a guided meditation every single week, so make sure that you don't miss any of them by subscribing to the channel and pressing the notification bell so that you're alerted every time I post new content. So if your mind is not totally still and totally under your control, then you need to meditate. I'm being funny here because, of course, you will always need to still your mind and you will always need to gain control over yourself and your thoughts. This is not something you'll ever really master. That's why you always hear me saying you don't do meditation, you don't actually meditate, you practice. You practice meditation. Meditation is a practice that you need to do consistently, preferably every single day for a certain amount of time. Meditation will also help you focus on your task at hand. It will help you recenter on your dharma. If you want to live a great life, you really need to practice meditation. It's a very powerful tool. Krishna says, and that'll be the last quote for today, strive to still your thoughts. Make your mind one-pointed in meditation. On the last meditation I posted on the channel, I used a sound that I ask you to put your focus on. The sound moves left, right, louder, softer, and I ask you to follow it. This is to train your focus, but also help you transcend time and space. Because you focus on this sound and you do so effortlessly, your thoughts, negative and positive or completely random, go to the background. You're then able to experience peace and let go of suffering. Okay, boys and girls, let's move on to the first exercise actually for this week, and then we'll wrap things up. In his tiny little book that we'll cover in another video because it's just one wisdom quote after another, literally readable in 30-45 minutes and will blow your freaking mind, Deepak Chopra, on his chapter dedicated to Dharma, his 7th spiritual law of success, asks you this question to help you find your Dharma. If you had all the money and all the time in the world, what would you do? So step 1, answer that question. Step 2, do it. I know that we get caught up in practicalities every day. We need money, we need to pay bills, we need to support our families, and so on and so forth. But you need a bit of perspective here because you only have one single life. You need to live it with purpose. Otherwise, you will never reach the highest level of satisfaction, happiness, and so on. Peace of mind. So make a plan. Whatever it is, live your life with your Dharma. There's no other choice. When your Dharma becomes clear, you need to exercise will every single day to live by it. You have a great tool that is meditation that will really help you do that. It will take a bit of effort at first, but that's okay. If a great life was too easy, could it really be that great? Okay, one last quote. I said it was the last one, but let's finish with this one from Krishna. On this path, effort never goes to waste, and there is no failure. Even a little effort towards spiritual awareness will protect you from the greatest fear. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that indeed it did help you to strive towards a little bit more spiritual awareness. If you have enjoyed today's content, I would really appreciate it if you can gently but surely press this like button. This is not for personal validation, but so that people can find our videos on YouTube. It's part of the algorithm. And yeah, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a new meditation video every single week, and you'll have more videos like this one. Also, if you prefer to listen to my content in audio format, I just started a podcast. That way you can listen to all this on the go, put your phone in the pocket, your headphones in your ears, do the meditation, go for a walk or whatnot. I'll link everything in the description of this video below. Last but not least, I love hearing from you guys, who you are, where you're from, what you do, what your goals are, and so on. So don't hesitate to say hi in the comments below. And if you prefer to get a little bit more personal, a little bit more private, then please don't hesitate sending me a private message on Instagram. I make it a point to answer to absolutely everybody. Before you leave, you might want to check out one of these two videos here. So this is the latest meditation video, and this is a video on Stoicism. The next video on Stoicism will be next Sunday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. So I will see you there. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy the week. I'll see you soon. Bye.